to design, to pre-processing, to 3D printing, post-processing, testing, and final release of your part. And also the material influences the printing process and your work environment. And as an example, I took the printing of surgical fibula guides, which I know happens in some point-of-care facilities, which in Europe are considered Class 2A devices, so already quite high risk class. And I just wanted to go through the different steps in the process and see what kind of risks you should consider and what quality considerations you should have. So if we talk about imaging, consider image resolution, but also image smoothing. If the radiology department smooths the images, what effect does it have on the quality of your input? Imaging artifacts are also always difficult to handle if you have to perform segmentation and get a proper 3D model. Then if we go to design, I know that many people are using various software packages in a row. So be careful about file format conversions if you're going from one software to another and back again. Take care of that. There can be voids in your design, and especially in resin printing, those can be a source of uncured resin down the road. If you have parts that are too thick, they can be improperly cured at the end. Thin parts can break. For pre-processing, obviously, you have to think about supports. You have to design support. Where do you place them? You shouldn't place too few, but also definitely not too many. Orientation in your build will also affect the accuracy and the surface quality, among others. Location in the build is even important. Printers usually print more accurate in the center. Then, if you really talk about the additive manufacturing process, and I think additive manufacturing is quite a unique process in that sense that during the printing, you're actually also processing the material, which is unlike machining, for example, milling, where you have the final material. But during printing, you're always processing the material as you are shaping your part. So risks here are contamination of your material, of your resin, cross-contamination if you happen to use multiple different materials in the same resin vat. Warping, shrinking can happen when you polymerize large areas, but also the quality of your light source, it can fade, it can lose power, so your polymerization rate goes down. In post-processing, you have to remove supports. If you don't remove enough, if you remove too much, uncured resin needs to be properly cleaned off. Also here, you're probably using a UV oven to cure the parts. What if you have a light source failure? You typically don't look into the UV oven. So is your part properly cured? And then testing. So what are the acceptance criteria for releasing a part? Is it still biocompatible after your processing? So I think validation of the whole process is quite important. If we look at the materials, using a certified material is not enough. It only tells you that under the perfect conditions, you can make biocompatible parts. So do check the disclaimer of your material supplier. But do you get a certificate of analysis with every batch of material? How do you store the parts? UV resins are light sensitive. Also, how long do you use resin? It ages. How often do you reuse it? And then the work environment, there's not just risks to your part, but also to the user. So there's like volatile organic compounds. So make sure it's ventilated properly. Resin is an irritant to your skin. And just overall cleanliness is also very important in the work environment. And then we haven't even spoken about the largest risk of all, which is people. Are they properly trained? Does the engineer know what to do, what to look for? What if you have a non-conforming product? How do you ensure that it doesn't